is to start streaming. Starting up the streams. Starting up the streams. Starting up the streams. Starting up the streams. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What is up? Twerkers, jerkers, and lurkers, witches, liches, and bitches. It is time once again for Johnston Blackhorse do's the drawringz. Yeah, it's been a while. I know. I've just been like really busy because lately, recently, my schooling ventures has started up again. I'm taking a certificate course from our local Dene College in computers, computer technologies, in which I learn about computer hardware, computer programming, and web design. I'm mostly doing it for web design, but getting to do some of this computer programming with C++ is pretty cool. I gotta keep up with the practice though, but I've just been sucking fucking Freudian stuff. No, I wish I was fucking, but I'm not. I'm not sucking though. The only thing I'm sucking at is some video games. If you're interested, I have a Twitch gaming channel where I play video games on stream from Steam. If you're interested in watching me game and suck at gaming, there's a link for that in the description section below. But yeah, like a lot of my time has been taken up by just like getting back into the swing of schooling. That'll be pretty neat. But I think it'd be pretty cool to have my own personal website, like my own platform to post like everything. In the past, I've had like several web blah, 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 accounts from several different art forms, and I always thought it'd be kind of cool. Like, what if I had like a centralized hub for all of my art stuff? Why is my stream lagging so bad? I don't know what the problem is. What is the dealio? Ah, shit. I hope my brother's not streaming too. He might could be. Let me check my YouTube stats. Um, well, that's pretty much standard. I think I think my only issue is that encoder. I think my issue is that I need to be closer to the router, the Wi-Fi router, but I'm like all the way tucked inside this fucking pre-built cabin. So I don't know. I got to get my own. Well, I do pay for the satellite internet, so I got to get the family their own personal satellite internets, so I can take my satellite and my router for me in this cabin. Yeah. Right now, I'm drawing like a commission for my very dedicated and loving client, Melody, who is the love of my life, the apple of my eye. Oh, there she is. Speak of the devil, and she shall appear. I was just talking about you. Talking about how amazing you are. Such a kind hearted, loving individual. Well, to me at least. Everyone else can just go fuck themselves. Yeah. Yes, me and my darling love are very antisocial. Oh shit! I forgot. That is my. Where is it? There it is. I don't know if you can hear the alarm, but that is my push-up alarm. I gotta, I gotta do some push-ups. It's like a little challenge for myself. Like in the past, I used to do push-ups on the fucking daily, man. Every hour on the hour, busting out a set of push-ups each time. And this is me just trying to get back into that. Here we go. And again, pardon me while I take the dogs outside. They like to spend with me. They're in no hurry to go outside. Usually, usually they're up and ready to go. Whew. Excuse me, I'm got a lot of breath after those push-ups. But yeah, I already let them out earlier, so they probably already did their business. Made 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 water and made poops. So they're in no hurry to go back outside. I don't blame them either. Like the past few weeks, the temperature has been sort of moderate. Like in my opinion, it could be cooler. Like the summers we used to have back in the day. It was like moderate temperatures, like pretty much all throughout the summer. Back when I was a kid, like three triple digit triple digit heat was unheard of here in Utah. It's like, oh, triple digit weather, that's something that happens down in like fucking Phoenix or something. But no, nowadays we get triple digit weather here. Like, fuck. Fucking humans. Gotta mess shit up. Fucking hate them. But anyway, yeah, yeah. These push-ups got me out of breath. Whew. But yeah, I'm getting back into it. So like every hour on the hour, I'll crank out like I've gone up to 20 push-ups lately. So I set my alarms on my phone to go off like pretty much every hour starting at 10 a.m. and they go on until 8 p.m. So that gives me like 10 10 sets of push-ups to do throughout the day. And for each set, I do 20. So today, round them all up, or like add them all up, I've done 200 push-ups. But fucking, that's nothing, man. Back when I was like doing this like fucking all the time, like just really into it. I was like 10 years younger too, so had the stamina, had the strength, man. I kept going at it for so long that I was doing like 30 push-ups every 30 minutes for it was like more than like 10 hours. It was like shit, how like my standard work day back then was like 20 hours. So I was doing like a set of 30 push-ups every 30 minutes for 20 hours. Let me get my calculator out. So that's a total of 60 push-ups each hour times 20. Yeah, whew, doing like about 1,200 push-ups in a day. 1,200 push-ups throughout the day. Fucking hell, man. I was a machine. So like I'm not trying to get back to that level. I'm just trying to get back to the point where I feel comfortable with myself. Because like several weeks ago, maybe like even like maybe a couple of months ago, I was just feeling really unhealthy and just really unhappy with how my body was turning out. Because like I'd noticed like I'd feel like the sense of lethargy, like no motivation, no no desire to like really get up and do stuff productive. Like I'd want to be productive, but the lethargic feeling I get is like, oh man, I just don't feel like I'm up for it. I want to, but man, I'm so tired. I'm so lazy. I gotta shake off like the fucking the snooze, the snoozy feeling, and it would just take me forever to just get myself up to do something and be productive, and I just started hating it. So I figured, like, you know what? Well, like before, when I was in that funk, I was thinking, like, man, it's like I want to go out for like walks or runs like I used to, but I gotta be so fucking busy to like try to keep making ends meet. And then I was thinking, like, you know what, man, like fucking, it doesn't take that much time and it doesn't take that much effort to just like get down, get down on the ground, get down, and do some push-ups, man. Just like fucking start with 10 push-ups every so often. So it took a little bit of self-talk, self-motivation. It was like thinking, like, yeah, why don't I? Like every so often throughout the day, like when I get the notion to do it, I should just get down on the ground, bust out 10 push-ups. Like what's the big deal about that? I don't have to like put on any running shoes. I don't have to like warm up or stretch. I don't have to do any sort of extensive preparation. Like say like I had like a weight set to like just fucking bust out the weight set and set things up. No, well, it's not that difficult. Just like fucking get down and do it. Just do the push-ups. And so I did. And it wasn't like every hour on the hour like I used to do it. It was just like every so often throughout the day when you get the notion to just get down and bust out some push-ups. And I did, and then slowly but surely I started getting into the whole like, you know what, I should just fucking get back into that routine that I used to be in. Just like busting out push-ups every hour on the hour. Set my alarm and just fucking do it, man. Just keep this going. Sure, I might not get back to the level I used to be, but hell, I'll feel a lot better about myself than I am right now. So I started doing it, and yeah, I feel a lot better. Like I'm not as slow or lethargic or just fucking lazy as I used to be like like weeks ago. I'm pretty happy with myself. Though I wish I could shed the inches. Like I've maintained the same amount of weight, and I don't feel like my waist has gone down any, but like the areas of fat, the areas of my body that contain the fat, they feel different. It's like they don't feel as like flubbery as they used to. It's like they feel, I don't know, it's like they feel smoother somehow. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I feel less chunky. I'm less chunky peanut butter and more smooth as Jif. And I like it. I feel like I've toned down in my gut a little bit, though I'm not losing any inches around my waist. But my fucking chest is just like it just kind of like sticks out a little more naturally. I look at myself like I catch myself in a reflection just walking around, and I look like a friggin' sort of like a beast walking around. Like beforehand, like I had this punch that would just kind of like stick out, and I just like sag over it. But now, like it's like my all these push-ups has helped me like with my posture when I walk, so I walk a little more straight up. So I'm not just like sagging over this flabby paunch of a stomach that I still do have, but not as much as anymore. But I'll stand up and walk a little more confident, a little more proud. Like sin because I still have like some fat that's like sticking to my chest and around my upper like torso. Like I look like I'm a little more buff than I actually am. But like all the push-ups and the muscle is like allowed me to carry myself a little better. It's helped with my posture most definitely. So how are we doing tonight? How's chat doing? I think Melody is the only one that's here right now. Oh wait, Melody's playing video games. Never mind. But I figured I should jump on YouTube because it's been a long while since I've done a YouTube stream. It's because I've been so busy. I'm usually like mostly streaming on other platforms such as my Twitch gaming, and I'm streaming on Picardo a lot more simply because I have more freedom there to like play whatever I want in the background, like whatever music or movies that I'm currently watching or interested in. Like I can play that in the background and I won't get fucking flagged by fucking YouTube. So on Picardo, like I'll do like a drawing stream, and recently we've been watching the original Thundercats, the original run of Thundercats, and this comes after watching the 2013 reboot. Oh my god, so fucking awesome. And eventually, I guess we could just fucking clown on Thundercats Roar. Oh my god, what a fucking awful cartoon. So shitty. Like, on Picardo, we went ahead and sat through one of the episodes, and oh, geez, they fucking do so many things so fucking wrong, man. Oh, God, it's painful. It's painful. And I hate those excuses that people come up with. Is like, oh, well, it's not for you. It's like, well, fucking, it's not for children either, because like watching that fucking episode, there's like so many awful lessons that they're like impressing onto the youth that are supposedly watching this for entertainment. Whereas like Thundercats, like the original Thundercats, it had very interesting like lessons and morals and decent action. Like people clown on the animation, but fucking shit, I still enjoy it. Sometimes like I'm drawing and I'm sort of like on the edge of my seat, just like partially watching the action going on, and I'm like, fucking yeah, you go, Lino, yeah, yeah, Panthro, fuck that guy up. And dude, every time the Thunder Tank thing comes in, I'm like, fuck yeah, Thunder Tank. Oh god, so fucking awesome. But as for Thundercats Roar, it's shit. Thundercats Roar is shit, man. All right, that's probably enough of me just like ranting about stuff. Just go ahead and get into the drawing and put on some spooky stories, shall we? I found like a new like creepy story narrator. I'm gonna try him out. His name is Creepy Noodles. So if you like what you hear, go check him out, give him a listen, even subscribe to him. Shit, I'll subscribe to him right now. Creepy Noodles, because I listened to one of his stories and it was all right. Like he does like a decent narration job. Let me pull this one. And I'll pick it up
later. The circle of forest is just that. A circle. About 750 meters in diameter. It's not particularly big. It is ringed by 2 meters of grassless rock, and then beyond that is the wilderness. Moss and fern and cliff and weeds. The trees and plants that grow inside the circle are thick and strange. It's raining this evening. I sit in my little hut with a mug of warm tea as the rain batters and clatters against the roof. It leaks through in one corner and drips quickly down into the bucket I placed there. My rifle rests against my leg. My hut has a direct view to the centerpiece of the forest, a dark cave-like hole in the middle of a clearing, descending down and into the unknown. I tried to go through it once, but my head began to pound the deeper I went down.
Okay, he's not like professional quality, but he's still better than some of the other narrators that I guess, endured throughout the years. He's not as pretentious. I'll put it at that.
The point of agony, actually, and I was forced to retreat. I don't go down there anymore. Not much point to it. My colleague joins me tonight. He sips from a mug of his own. Ah, he says, with a pleasant smile. Delicious. Nothing like a warm mug on a cold day. I replied, scratching my beard. What do you think might be coming up tonight? He asked. Who could tell? Nothing, hopefully. It's been a while since the last one, he murmurs. We're overdue a visitor. Yes, I suppose we are, I sighed. Visitor is darkly comical way to refer to the things that clamber out of the hole, coined because of how crushingly lonely it can get at this particular station. I've been here for 3 months now, another 3 to go. But of course, I have Robbie here with me tonight. Someone to talk to. I missed him. The rain splashes through the leaves and into the undergrowth, and I take a final sip before setting the mug down onto the wooden little table with a low thunk. I rise to my feet. Right. Let's head a little closer, shall we? Ugh, he mutters, glancing out the doorway. Into the rain? You know it, brother. He sighs. Fine. Are we splitting up or sticking together this time? It's a no-brainer. We'll stick together, I tell him. I clap him on the shoulder and gesture for the man to head outside. You know how I get lonely. He chuckles. Right you are, man.
Hold on. I got to pull the dewz. I shall be right back. Freaking, I spoiled these dogs. It's just as well though because the summer's been fucking hot, and the horseflies fucking the horseflies get really bad and start fucking eating them alive. I mean, it's awful. It can get awful. I mean, last year, one of our dogs, the horseflies, just freaking ate like a patch of skin off of the top of her head, and this so like last year I had to start bringing her inside the cabin to keep her away from them. This year was like a little more of the same, but I was able to like just bring them in every so often. But it sucks because I can't leave them alone in my cabin for too long. So when I'm out and away doing errands for hours at a time, like I'll have to put them outside, and then that just leaves them open for the fucking horse flies to just eat away at them again. But it's been a little bit of back and forth. But now that I have more time to just like be here in the cabin to just work on this stuff, work on schoolwork, and then go periodically back to the main house to check on my mom. Been able to keep them pretty like keep them away from the horseflies for fairly decent time. So yeah, they don't have open wounds anymore. Fucking horseflies, hate them. Anyway, back to the story.
And out he goes, rifle in hand. I hoist up my own and out I go, the water splashing against my hood and my shoulders as we push through the undergrowth and a little closer towards the hole. The reason for this little pursuit outdoors is the ring itself. It is, unfortunately, obscure.
Oh shit, let me. I don't know why my nose is running. Oh, this person's probably asleep. Let me inform my channel. There we go. I keep forgetting to do that.
during our review, and whilst on a clear day I
What
might be
is
content
up, Sammy
to just sit
2D?
in the hut and wait for one of the sensors to trigger, I also don't fully trust the sensor's effectiveness in such a weather. So out we go. The ferns brushed up against my camel-clad legs as we approach the clearing, and we take our positions beside the best lookout trees. Robbie is a
Well,
little
thanks for
off,
dropping
though.
in, Sammy 2D.
Hey,
Been
I
a
said to
while.
him,
Of
above
course,
the
it's
rush
my
of the
fault because
rain.
I don't.
Looks at me.
Hold on.
Wake up, man.
Of course, it's my fault because I don't stream as much as YouTube as I used to. Because like I'm streaming more on Picardo, and on Picardo, like I have more liberty to listen to licensed music and watch like movies and TV shows without getting hassled by the YouTube man. But I figure I should make a stream on YouTube, touch base every now and then. Because I ran into one of my cousins today who was like asking, like, oh, so no more Skinwalker stories? Like, oh, dude, no. I'm streaming more on like Picardo and like streaming on my Twitch gaming thing. And I told him that I'm also going back to school for computer certificate. But I figured, like, you know what? It's been a while. I should jump on a YouTube stream and see how everybody's doing. Anyway, back to stories.
You can be seen from there. Back up a little. He chuckles and rubs his head. Of course, right you are. We settle down and we wait, and we watch as water pools and puddles around the hole in the ground ahead. It's surrounded by tumbled rock and stone, though I couldn't say from where. There isn't another rock of such size in the whole circle of the forest. Perhaps someone moved them there long, long ago. It's another 20 minutes before anything stirs from the hole. Robbie and I just spend the time shooting the shit. I just think you'd be much happier if you quit this business, man, Robbie said to me. Being isolated for such long periods of time, it's not healthy. How long you got left? 3 months, I tell him. So 6 months total. Half a year in such a place as this. Robbie shakes his head. You need to be around people. Humans are social creatures. Perhaps, I grunt. Robbie opens his mouth to say more, but I cut him off with a quick gesture, pointing to the hole. We both creep a little lower in our positions and watch as a shadow begins to shamble its way from the depths of the hole. The thing is covered in slime and chatters as it appears, armored, brown, and disgusting. 2 tiny beady eyes peered out as its antennae twitch and circled around. Its rows upon rows of sharp legs clatter over the rock and slice down into the wet grass and the mud. I feel a swell of revulsion rise up in my stomach, but it's okay. These types are always the easiest. I raise my rifle. Robbie does likewise, and the abomination is riddled with quick holes, its shell and flesh bursting out into the undergrowth as it screeches in fury. I suppress a gag. Disgusting, Robbie mutters. Where the hell do these things even come from? I don't bother responding. It's a question we ask each other countless times over the years, and I have my theories. From amidst the ruin of the centipede-like creature and out from the hole comes a deer. It raises its head and sniffs the air. I raise the rifle, and the deer bolts, bouncing and speeding away over the undergrowth. Fuck! I shout, hesitating as I look between the deer and my colleague. I point at him. Watch the damn hole. I'll be back.
I shout.
Yeah, chance would be a fine thing, but the deer is the priority for now. I take off between the trees after it. I raise the gun and fire, exploding a branch as I do so. The deer still hops speedily away. They aren't usually this fast, these things. I stumble after it, leaping over ferns and bushes, and the deer makes the mistake of turning sideways and try to AC away from me. I take the opportunity to raise the rifle to my shoulder, firing again, with a better chance of hitting, and this time I strike. Black fluid bursts from the deer's side, and the strangled, decidedly non-deer-like noises escape its throat as it crashes down to the ground with the rustle of ferns. I wipe the rain and sweat from my forehead and turn instantly back, chest rising and falling as I hastily return to the clearing. I approach from the opposite side this time, and I raise a hand to Robbie. But just as I expected, the man isn't looking. His interest is elsewhere. Staring off onto the woods, he rises to his feet. "Robbie!" I shouted at him, and he swivels to look at me. "Were you watching the hole?" The man does not respond, and movement at the clearing's edge catches both of our attentions. An anxious-looking man with a backpack and waterproof trousers shuffles out from between the trees, a crumpled map in one hand. Hello?" he says, looking between Robbie and I. I raise my rifle at once, and Robbie does likewise. I begin making my way around the clearing's edge towards my colleague, barrel of the weapon fixed carefully on a stranger. Hey!" he says in alarm, putting up his hands. I don't understand. You guys are rangers, right? I'm not a poacher or anything like that." He forces out an awkward laugh. "I'm just lost. Honestly, literally. I'm literally lost." "Where are you from?" I ask him. I'm sorry?" the man replies, adjusting his glasses. "I didn't realize I had an accent." A poor attempt at a joke, another weak laugh. "Tell me where you're from right now or I'll blow your head off." I tell the stranger plainly as I reach my position beside Robbie. "Speak clearly." I'm from Obdebrand," the man mutters. "What?" I reply, jerking the rifle. "I said speak clearly." Obdebrand," the man replies, raising his voice, the terror in his face quite evident. "That isn't a real place," I tell him. "What country?" I don't... "What damn country?" "This country, obviously. Please, this isn't funny. Just let me go, alright? I'll find my own way, please." I exchanged a look with Robbie. "Tell me the name of any country, hiker. That's all I want to know." The man shakes where he stands as the rain pours down through the trees.
"He's not human!
He
Shoot him!"
mutters and stutters, and eventually he manages to speak, though his words are a string of nonsense. I take quick aim and pull the trigger, and a hole appears in the center of the man's forehead. He drops like a brick as black fluid bursts and spurts from his face, his skin twitching and crawling as a massive insect-like leg bursts from his ribcage. I spit onto the ground. "Jesus," Robbie murmurs. I consider chiding the man for allowing the creature through, but there's no point really. So I let it go. The corpse twitches in the grass beneath the rain. "Obdebrand," Robbie repeats. "Do you think it's a real place, or did he just made it up? A random combination of sounds?" "Who can say, man?" I replied, shrugging. "Your guess is as good as mine." Robbie says nothing further. We sit side by side and watch the hole for another 30 minutes. We are quieter this time, but still, it's nice just to have his company. The rain falls. "I gotta take a piss, man," Robbie says, breaking the silence. He clambers to his feet. "Hey, don't go too far. Just piss right there." "Eh?" "I need you alert and active, my man. Just piss right there." Robbie hesitates and gives me a look before shaking his head. "Alright, man. I'll try not to turn around too fast. Wouldn't want to hit you with my massive dick and knock you out." I chuckle as he relieves himself against the tree, a chuckle which is quickly lost as a horde of shadowy beings begin stampering out of the hole. "Action, Robbie," I tell him. "Quick, stay alert." The shadowy beings quickly take shape through the rain. They are all exactly copies of myself. They don't make a break for the exit. They run to me. Fuck. Soldier! One of the copies shouts into my face, grabbing me by the shoulders. Jesus, thank God you're alive. Right, come with us immediately. There's still time to get you to safety. I shove him away and raise the rifle. My copy stares at the barrel, then at me, and then swears and throws out his hands. Again? For fuck's sake, why does he keep doing this? He turns to another of my copies and gives him a light shove in the chest. Why won't he just come back? What are we doing wrong? I choose not to partake in this little piece of theater. I take aim and fire, bursting a hole in my copy's neck. Initially, the blood is red, which is rather worrying, but it quickly runs black as he falls gasping on the floor. The other copies and myself all retreat in panic. There are 5 more of them. Robbie, one of them shouts, gesturing to my colleague. Tell him to come back already. We can't keep doing this. Robbie stutters and mutters, and I fire. The copy's head bursts open. Down he goes. 2 of the surviving copies attempt a hasty escape, back to the hole, which I find interesting, but not interesting enough to spare them. Down they go, one after the other. Bang! Bang! 2 left now. They looked at each other, and the closest holds out a hand to me. Listen, he says carefully as I reload. I know this seems impossible and scary. He's right. I'm fucking terrified. Though I'm doing my best not to show it. These things really are getting creative. But you have to trust us on this, or at least hear us out, please. Do you have any idea how long you've been gone? The other copy shouts in anger. He's not gonna listen. It's just like last time. The closest copy stares right into my eyes. I don't care what the others say, he tells me. I will never leave you behind. I swore it once, and it's a promise I intend to. Bang! I blow the imposter to kingdom come. His comrade panics and slips on the wet grass as he tries to run, and I gun him down.
Max Sham has entered the chat. He says, hey!
Ground, his skin twitching and very...
I love your art, man. Thank you. Thank you very much, Max. I want to say Max Sham or Max Sam. I'm just gonna go with Max Sham. All right, back to the story.
Various and unsettling places, as if being pressed or stretched from the inside. I put a couple of bonus bullets in him for good measure. Robbie looks over to me and studies my face. Are you good, man? He asks after a moment. Yeah, I reply, lying. Yep. I stare at the faces of my copies. Corpses now. I try not to dwell on it. I glance over to Robbie. Perhaps I've let this little charade go on far too long. Robbie pales and stares right past me at the hole. I turn to follow his gaze. 3 figures clamber out, one waving a white flag. Wait! One calls above the roar of the rain. I squint through it for a better look. Don't shoot! It's me, again, another copy. Though this one is at least 2 decades older. A copy of Robbie is with him, similarly aged. A girl in her 30s walks with them, a fearful expression on her face and her hands raised. It's my daughter, a sick copy at the least, and aged up just like the others. I throw my hands out, exasperated. What do you want? Listen to me, you fool, my elder copy shouts back. This is the real me, the real you. And this is the real Robbie, the real Robbie. He puts a hand on a copy of Robbie's shoulder, and his other on my daughter's. She stares at me, wide-eyed. He looks so young, she says. She calls over. Dad, it's me. Do you remember? Please tell me you remember. Remember the trip we took to the beach? You took us to the coast on my 10th birthday. We saw dolphins. She reaches up to her neck and lifts a necklace with a smooth, tiny, shiny pebble attached. You let me keep this pebble. We had it turned into a necklace. Things are about to change, my copy says to me, walking ever closer. Things beyond your understanding, and the truth of this hole barely scratched the surface. It's a passage, I think you realize this, a passage to places beyond and between, sometimes to other planes. Yes, but the tunnels run deep. They loop back around. He slams his hands to his chest. I'm babbling. I appreciate that this might not make any sense to you, but we are from the same loop. The same path, looped back around. I take a deep breath. I look this madman in the eyes, with the scent of the rain-washed pine and the drift of rifle smoke in my nose. I take aim, and I fire. Bang! My so-called future self drops to the ground. My daughter screams, and the elderly copy of Robbie drops to his knees at the corpse. No, no, he cries, and I take him out as well. The copy of my daughter is the hardest. Shaking where she stands, she turns to stare at me, defiant, daring me to shoot in cold silence. It doesn't have to be this way, she says, her voice wavering. I chew my tongue, and then I call her bluff. Bang! Down she goes. Just another leaking corpse. Robbie stares at the ruined bodies. The trees rustle in the rain as the blasts of rifle ring in our ears. He looks to me. How do you do it? He murmurs. How the fuck do you do it? I rub a sleeve across my eyes. Do not allow anything to escape, I tell him. It's a rule for a reason. You do it so easily, he says quietly, the disgust in his voice quite clear. Is that what you think? I ask him. I turn to face him, my jaw set as the rain leaks from the chin. Tell me, Robbie, tell me what I am doing is wrong. Should I be letting these things and these abominations out into the world? And where do they come from, exactly? If where they're coming from is so great, then why leave at all? If there's something worse that's pushing them away, then that's all the more incentive to just keep shooting. I don't know which one of these horrors is the worst, so better safe than sorry. What if they have something important to tell us? He asks me. Important? Fuck them. It's all tricks and lies. The second I let my guard down, I am lost. And speaking of which, I raise the rifle and point it at his head. He backs away. Wait, hold on. He laughs anxiously, then stops when he realizes that I'm not kidding around. You got mad, he says simply. You lost yourself in the head. It's me. It's Robbie. If the things that come off of the ground are benevolent, then why do they all lie, Robbie? Why do they lie? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I think you do, my friend. I cocked the rifle. I've enjoyed your company tonight. I really have. You were a strong imitation, I'll give you that. But you've missed a crucial piece of information. You always miss something. Robbie is dead. Long dead. Died 2 years ago. He died defending the people of this place from an abomination that rose out of the yonder hole. So I'll be seeing you now. Robbie's face contorts into shock and surprise. Please, he begins, and I put a bullet through his forehead with a loud bang. He crumbles. Down he goes, just like the rest of them. That terrible black fluid pouring out and over the grass, oversized, yet still only half-formed insect leg burst from his shoulders and neck, twitching in the rain. I lift my face to the sky and take a slow deep breath. When Robbie first appeared to me this evening from through the trees, I was too surprised to react. It was a potentially fatal mistake, but for one reason or another, the copy did not use his rifle to shoot me. If he was going to use it to kill me, he could have done so in that very first instant. He didn't, so after that, I just played along, keeping an eye on him. As I said, it gets real lonely up here, and I miss that man a great deal. The rain's letting up a little now. I watch as black sludge begins bubbling up from the hole's entrance, and I return to my hut, sitting down with a sigh in my chair as water drips from the branches and into the bucket beside me. The corpses will have melted away by morning. There won't be any more visitors tonight. The black sludge means that the tunnel needs time to recharge. I reach for my mug and take a slow sip of cold, miserable tea. 3 months down, 3 more to go.
Damn. What a twist! This whole time he's just been palling around with a cheap imitation of his dead friend. Muy interesante.
There is no free will. Those are the first words I ever read. I woke to them every day for many years. They were written on a sign. The sign was hung above the opposite row of bunks in the sleeping barn. I have no memories from before the farm. I assumed I was just born here. None of the children there knew why we were here or where we came from. Nobody even knew how long we had been at the farm. Some children aged, some didn't. I can't remember much, but that's what happens when you are not given too much to remember. I remember always being deliriously hungry. We would be fed 3 small meals a day, but before everyone, Headmaster Ranon Xenon would make us watch him sprinkle a few drops of clear liquid from a label-less brown bottle on the food. Then he would serve behind the steel door and slide out each meal through a window. So you never knew if your meal was poison. Most of us danced around the edges of their food. Nobody was eager to dive in. Not when we had seen a dozen kids turn blue and die in front of us after picking the wrong meal. Several of us rarely ate the food. I never ate from my plate. I would scavenge what little clean scraps there were in the garbage. I ate 4 crows. They are just as disgusting as saying implies. And I would go full Rhinefield and eat flies, ants, dandelions, cockroaches, clovers, pillbugs, anything living and somewhat edible. I would keep the spiders. I had a special place for those. The 20 boys and 30-odd girls worked the fields that provided all the food to the farm. A crumbling wood compound fenced by tall barbed wire and the surrounding woods. Past that, the wilderness. Even though there wasn't spotlights or guards, the farm was much more inescapable than the prison. Every few weeks, Headmaster Xenon would take the near 100 of us to the edge of his farm, where he would blow a strange brass whistle. Bloodshot German shepherds sprang from the underbush as if they had been waiting for his call, mouths foaming as they gnashed their teeth on the rusted barbed wire, threatening to break in and chew us alive as the headmaster coldly smiled and spoke with a voice that sounded like gunshots fired far away. "Their old guard dog's gone rabid. I have learned through one of you how to train them, and they only obey me. And if you run, they will kill you or make you wish you stay here with me." The farm never had answers. Very few people came. The rare delivery trucks, a prison bus, a black tinted window, Thunderbird that made a powerful turbine roar, as if rocket engines were installed under the hood, and they only dealt with the headmaster, the only person to leave with the driver of the Thunderbird. There was a rumor that we were not real kids at all. The headmaster Xenon was a demon who crafted us all from blood and ash. We never dared speak to the headmaster, and asking a question was ludicrous, as a question would mean a touch from his hand, cruel hand, a hand that made the surrounding air a pincushion of pain that would sting your skin even if his hand grazed yours. But above the poisonings, back-breaking labor and cleaning, scavenging for food and never knowing a single day what was going on, we feared the nights worst of all. Being exhausted from working in the fields all day wasn't enough to overcome the fear to sleep. When it was darkest and the air had fallen still, we would hear the headmaster's creaking footsteps just appear in the center of the drafty barn without any kind of warning. Sometimes we would hear him walk on the roof, up the walls, on the ceiling. I can still hear his breathing if I close my eyes. That sick pig's wheezing, agonized breath that sucked air in and out in a gut-throat exhaust. The breathing and the footsteps would circle and circle until he heard someone cry. That's when the Taken would give one last cry before they were gone, along with the headmaster. The missing child would return to their beds in the morning, bearing new marks. A glancing finger left a nasty red and purple smear on one side. Sometimes the black fingertips dotted their bodies. We would never say anything about these marks to anyone. We were always afraid the headmaster would hear and give us matching marks to boots. Sometimes he would touch you with his entire palm, leaving a wrinkled imprint as raw and painful as a hot iron brand. I had a few marks as well, but I consider myself lucky that I only had a few marks, as far as I could tell. I was one of the 4 boys and 5 girls who cleaned the headmaster's home, the farmhouse. I cleaned the bathrooms and emptied out the shit cisterns by slop bucket and rope. I cleaned the bathrooms, and eventually I found a few loose ceiling boards above the toilet when I was scrubbing for mildew, standing on the windowsill. They were right above his toilet. I began thinking. This was my life for what felt like many years. I swore I could have named 25 separate times the frost came, but we had no way to keep track of time, not even by our ages. I swore sometimes we would see a kid go from looking 13, 14, back down to looking. Time made no sense at the farm, and I knew that I wasn't going to get out by waiting. When I had woke one morning to find the searing red-hot handprint of the headmaster red and xenon on my upper arm, a hazy, starvation-induced plan emerged from the fog of my brain. I went to the special place by the cisterns where I had kept every black widow spider I had come across. I kept them behind the false brick on the side of the farmhouse, where I once collected 8 of them and discovered that black widows were cannibalistic when grouped together. Only the strongest survived.
Okay, I'm going to BRB. Duchess was willing to go outside simply because I think she might be thirsty or needing to do her business. So she was willing to go out, but Hershey, on the other hand, Hershey's like the mother of all the pit bulls we have out here. She sat up as I came back in, kind of expectant, but still yet hesitant. Like, I'll go outside if I have to, but I don't really want to. So I walked right past her. Like, sensing this, I walked right past her, and she just, like, flopped back down. I was like, okay, I don't have to go outside yet. So she flopped back down. She's, like, chilling out. It only makes sense, though, because, like, it's still kind of warm outside, and Hershey's an old dog, so I'm sure she prefers to stay cool as much as possible. He's a good puppy, except for the time she pissed in my cabin once. But that was my bad. I took a nap, and they were clamoring at my forearm, wanting to get my attention, and I was so lazy that I just like laid there for a little while longer, and they went ahead and just clamored at my forearm again. And when I finally decided to get up, I guess Hershey couldn't hold it anymore, so she popped a squat right under my desk. And I told her no, but I didn't want to get after her too much because she was like right next to my power cables. So if she got too scared and tried to run away while still pissing, she would have pissed all over my power cables. So I just let her do her business and then cleaned it up afterwards. But yeah, like the last time she did her business in my cabin, that was on me because I was too lazy to get up when they wanted me to get up to let them out. But right now, Hershey just wants to chill out. Oh man, my ass is sore. The sitting muscle is so. It comes from like just days of just sitting at my desk doing schoolwork or commission work or playing video games on screen. I gotta get a better chair. Or find more time to be a little more active. Like the push-ups really helped out a lot. Just having to get up and do physical activity, or just a small set of push-ups. I should. I know I've said this before, but I should probably start trying doing toe touches, squat in tandem, or in or a couple different push-ups. I say my ass is sore, but it's like my hindquarters. I don't know what you muscle called. The muscle group below your ass, in the back of your thighs, quadriceps. No, what is that? Let's just get back to some stories, and I'll get back to drawing after I do a few more stretches.
I kept hosting tournaments until 108 black widow spiders were reduced to 26 of the most toxic. twitchy and bite crazy widows you never want to meet. I was bitten only twice and came very close to an agonizing death both times. I knew one bite wouldn't do a monster like Xenon, and I was set. I was ready to enact the last stage of my plan when everything changed on a cold day in the early frost, when a helicopter as black as the Thunderbird made a couple of low circles over the farm. Rannon Xenon went insane. He poisoned half the meals the day after the helicopter came, and after breakfast he took us all outside to form a queue outside the chicken slaughterhouse. When he began leading us in one by one, a few joined me and ran. Judging from the screams, he caught most of the runners, but he didn't catch me. I spent many nights fantasizing about this moment, when I wasn't listening to his footsteps or sick breathing. I put the Black Widows inside an old compartmentalized chocolate box scavenged out of the wood pile, perfect for keeping each one locked away. I went up through the floorboards and hid in the space in the bathroom. The headmaster may not sleep through this paranoia, but everyone's gotta go eventually, even monsters. Those cisterns didn't shit themselves. It was dark by the time that he arrived with his candle. The sound of him pulling down his trousers and his simultaneous grunt masked the sound of me moving the planks above him aside, pulling the lid off the box of 26 Nightmare, showering the headmaster with ravenous, crazed gladiators. My beauties began biting the headmaster as soon as they landed. The terror of the child farm, the demon named Rannon Xenon, lied curled around his toilet, eyes swelling shut, a mouth locked in a disgusted, surprised, outrageous gurgle of horror as spasms racked his whole body. Before his eyes swelled completely shut,
Nice.
he saw my small 7-year-old face peering down the hole in this darkness. The missing child. The headmaster began to cackle. I knew this could happen. There is no free will. It's fine. I lived 10,000 years already. I lived your happy summers, wonderful marriages, fruitful successes. Your life was beautiful beyond compare. That's why He smashed a few spiders scudding around his face, but I could tell he was fading fast. You and I are ghosts now, were his last intelligible words before the headmaster's breathing stopped. I hid for 4 more hours before carefully making my way to the window, the safest place in the room. The spiders were done and gone. The chopper returned with the convoy of armed men right before sunrise. I was the only survivor of the farm. The captain of the operation was a man named Clinton Moxley, chief field investigator for the Security Bureau of Reclamation. He adopted me and I took his last name. He was the one who named me Howard. He even said I knew him from before. He also said he was able to find me due to tracers injected into me before I went. I never knew I had them. I told my father what little I knew. He corrected me on a few things. He chooses victims who had good lives, my father would explain as he would tuck me in. His existence is the greatest evidence that time is a physical dimension, something that exists and can be crafted and stolen. He lives your years in just a few seconds. We believed he is responsible for over 100,000 homeless children across the world, another young human with a frail, old, used-up timeline. I asked the only father I knew why he adopted me. He brought me to the master bedroom dual mirror and told me to take off my shirt. Because I owe you. You were an old man once, Howard. You were my partner within the bureau. You went sent into the farm by yourself to try to shut it down. I will make sure you will get the help you need to remember. I had hoped that you would remember something about your past on your own, but I see the headmaster got to you too. I looked behind me, using a set of mirrors to see my own back for the first time, and seeing it covered in handprints. That was many years ago. True to Headmaster's words, I have been a ghost among the living since then. It's been hard even sleeping, especially now. For the past few nights, I have heard both the Headmaster's footsteps and rasping breath next to my bed. My father never said they found the Headmaster's body. I know he wants me and his farm back. He wants me back. He wants all of his children back.
Headmaster was a freak. He was a creep. What else? Let me see what Midnight Broadcast has to offer this evening. Oh, the Australian bush. Cryptids from down under. Sure, why not? Let's try it out. Oh, loves you too, honey kitty. Fluff, fluff. Okay. Good evening.
Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast. And welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
I worked as a ranger like a park ranger in the Australian bush. I've got one story, probably the scariest thing that happened to me. Working in Northern Territory. Crocodile Dundee Territory. Get told to go investigate group of backpackers and young osses near a campsite. Head to the campsite. Pull up, but the campsite is abandoned. All their camp stuff was everywhere. Sit down for a minute and try to listen for them in the distance. Hear something about 300 meters away. Grab my rifle and torch and head over there. As I get closer, I can hear young people, no loud noise, mainly talking. I'm about 50 meters away from the waterside, clearing they are all at. Shout out to them, "Oi, I'm a ranger, don't be alarmed." Talking stops. I enter the clearing. They all just stare at me and all look scared shitless. What's going on? Why are you guys near here? It's dangerous.
He's gone.
I automatically assume he drowned or got eaten by a crocodile. What do you mean he's gone?
While he was sitting on the tree branch, it snapped. He started bleeding from the head. I ran to get the others, and when we came back, he was gone.
Look over to where this guy fell. Blood everywhere. No signs of crocodile trails or any other footprints. Is this some joke or something? JPG. Just to be safe, I take them all back to the campsite away from the water. Call the cops. About 2 hours later, the police show up. Go back to crime scene and search for footprints and or this guy that fell out of the tree. Literally nothing there. I start freaking out. Apparently the teenagers did a sweep of the area when they arrived. No trace of him. Next morning, police call a helicopter for air search. Police section off the water so crocs can't go anywhere. Police dogs and officers begin search. Midday arrives and still no sign. The last person to see this guy was the girl that told me he was gone. She is traumatized, like just stares straight ahead and won't talk to anyone. All the teenagers were taken back to the nearest town and questioned by police. The traumatized girl is left at the campsite with her best friend. The traumatized girl won't talk. She just leans on her friend and stares straight ahead. We're still deciding if we should start shooting the crocs and go diving to see if we find him. Still no evidence that this guy was near the water. Cops try to get something out of the girl. Still nothing. It's getting dark again. The girl won't move, and any attempt to force her gets angry and she attacks people. I'm tired. Continue search till midnight. Literally jogging through the bush looking for one guy who just seemed to vanish. Midnight comes. I sleep in the tray of my ute, truck for Americans. Wake up the next morning. They found him. He was hanging in a tree, like 100 meters from the waterfront. Take the girl to see the body. Do you have any idea as to how he got there? Continues to stare ahead with this blank stare. Cop cuffs her because we fear she killed him. They cut him down and take her to be locked up. I go home. 3 days later. Go to the police station. Apparently they were both in this tree. He told her how he was going to take his own life. Took out a rope from his bag. Told her it was all her fault. She gets scared and moves away from him. In the tree, he begins tying the knot. She freaks out and runs down the tree to get help. On her way back, she slips and cuts her leg, splashing blood.
What a fucking loser. Oh, I'm gonna kill myself and it's all your fault. Bleh. Oh my god. I mean, how hard up are you for some pussy, dude? Like, fucking, what a fucking simp, man. Like, I don't know what she did to, like, upset him so much, but fucking, dude, get over it. Jeez. There's, like, plenty of other reasons to, like, fucking off yourself. You know? But, like, over a shitty relationship. Thanks for hanging out with me in this tree. By the way, I'm gonna hang myself and it's all your fault. Oh my god. Like, what a fucking drama queen. Invites her to hang out with her up in a tree. And that's his grand scheme, is just like fucking tie a rope around his neck and the branch that they're sitting on and toss himself off. Fucking weak sauce, man. Jeez. It's like, yeah, I've been in a toxic relationship. That was like fucking no reason to fucking kill myself. Oh, my lovely Melody is asking me, Squish Butt, can you do me a quick favor, please? Yes, I can do you a quick favor. What is that? What is it, my honey kitty? Stop making fun of dead people? Who kill themselves for stupid reasons? I'm gonna hang myself and it's all your fault. Okay. Can you just make sure our boy is scaled correctly is all? Don't need one being any taller than the other. Yes. I was thinking about that. It's like thinking, are they scaled appropriately? Like, one does look a little taller than the other, but then this one's stance is a little wider than this one. But if it's bugging you, I can scale this one down a little bit just so they're the same height. And I'm trying to make this one look less hench, but eventually there's going to be clothes draped over them, so I think that would be the time to make them look less hench, because the one on the right is looking far more slender and feminine than the one on the left. Like, the one on the left, I got it in my mind, like, okay, this is the one that's aggressive, like, this is the one that's ready for action. So I think I inadvertently made that figure more hench than the other, but I will tone it down. I will tone it down. The one on this side still looks a little taller for some reason, but they're standing on the same sort of like field. Hold on. I want to center the body weight a little more. Okay. That's There we go. Okay, bad Or back to this fucking this sad sack. Ugh, I'm gonna kill myself. It's all your fault. I'm sorry. That's terrible. I shouldn't be laughing at it. But I'm just thinking, like, you're gonna off yourself. Like, there are other reasons that might justify it. Jeez. But over, like, a shitty relationship? Man. Get a life, dude. Whatever she did, it's not worth it. Of course, I'm saying this to a dead guy. You should have gotten a life, man. Let me rewind it, because I want to hear that again.
His own life. Took out a rope from his bag. Told her it was all her fault. She is released and take her to be locked up. I go home. 3 days later. Go to the police station. Apparently they were both in this tree. He told her how he was going to take his own life. Took out a rope from his bag. Told her it was all her fault. She gets scared and moves away from him. In the tree. He begins tying the knot. She freaks out and runs down the tree to get help. On her way back she slips and cuts her leg, splashing blood on the rock that this guy we thought fell on. She also smacks her head and get concussion. She wakes up 10 minutes later and tells everyone that the guy is gone. Everyone freaks out, and because it was getting dark they don't find him. When I arrived it began to rain pretty much all night and the next day. One of the scariest things to happen to me.
Oh man. I'm sorry, this tragedy is like turned into a comedy of errors. First off, this guy decides to off himself for like a completely shitty reason. So this chick, like, I don't know what she did to upset him that so much, but she tries like I don't know, maybe he was a shitty BF. Who knows? Like maybe he did something stupid. You know, benefit of the doubt. Because like she decides to do the right thing and like go for help before like this guy does something fucking idiotic. So like who knows? Like maybe he did something stupid to drive her away. He wanted to end the relationship, and then he comes out. Oh, this is all your fault. I'm gonna end myself. Oh my god. So she wants to do the right thing, so she tries to run and get help, and she trips, falls into a rock, gets a concussion. This this shouldn't be as funny as it is. Oh my god, this is awful. Oh my god. Oh man, gets a concussion, wakes up like hours later or whatever when he's already fucking done it, and she's fucking traumatized. Okay, benefit of the doubt. Like, well, he it was probably all him. Let's face it. Like, he was fucking dumb and toxic enough to make this ultimate decision. So he was probably like a fucking shitty boyfriend. And like she wanted to do the right thing, but fate intervened and she tripped, got a concussion, and fate allowed him to just like fucking like just fate decided like, you know what, this guy's fucking shitty enough. Let's just end this guy right here. Let's just end this guy's story right here, right now. This guy doesn't need to continue on any further. So I guess in that sense, like if he was that shitty, you know, like most likely he was because he made the stupid decision, and he probably did a whole lot of stupid shit in the relationship to drive her away, and ultimately, like, yeah, like he wanted to blame this thing on her. So yeah, looking on that, those little tidbits, like, yeah, totally, this guy must have been like fucking toxic, totally rotten BF material through and through. So yeah, like fate. This comedy of errors, this fate fucking did us a favor. Good riddance. Oh my god. Blackhorse, you're an awful person. Yes. Yes, I am.
I mean, just the blank stare and the way she kept saying he's gone. She looked possessed and ready to kill everyone within 1,000 kilometers.
This happened a couple of days ago.
What? That's it? That was your like fucking creepiest part of the story? Was just how she looked? Oh my god. The story was pretty good. It was hilarious. But that whole like little tie off, like this is the creepiest part. Like, okay, I'm on the edge of my seat, dude. Give it to me. And the ending is like, oh, that's it? Really? Serious? Man, I've witnessed much worse. Like my fucking ex was a schizo. And I've had the, I guess you could say, misfortune of like seeing her other self come out. And it was so weird because when her other self came out, like the last time her schizo personality came out was like fucking years ago. So once her other self came out, it's as if like no time passed for her other personality. And she was like fucking confused as shit. It was like fucking weird. And I had to like calm her down and like explain like the whole give her like a quick too long didn't read recap of the last several years, that her personality, her other personality, wasn't conscious. It was fucking nuts, dude. But yeah, my ex was a schizo.
Pretty much all night and the next day. One of the scariest things to happen to me. I mean, just the blank stare and the way she kept saying he's gone. She looked possessed and ready to kill everyone within 1,000 kilometers.
Oh no, that's so scary. Oh, I feel so bad for you. Man, I'm such a...
This happened a couple of days ago. Be Australian. Take dog for walk on beach. Heading back through bush. Hear strange bird noises. Spot rare black cockatoo. Cockatoo flies away down side path. Decide to follow it because you don't see one of these every day. Start walking down side path. See flock of cockatoos in trees up ahead. Try to get closer. Dog freaks out. Starts pulling as hard as she can on the leash, trying to get away. Thinks she's chasing something at first, but there's nothing to chase. Can't stop her, have to go with her. Runs down path away from beach. Won't stop running until we're across a bridge on the other side of a river from where we were. I stop. Try to take her back across the bridge, but she won't go. Digs her heels in. Never seen her act this way before in my life. Keeps looking back over her shoulder the whole way home. Like something's following us. Pretty sure my dog saved me from some evil cockatoos.
I'm Australian and our family has a house up in the bush that is around 100 years old. A few years ago I was going through a rough patch after losing a job. My family suggested I get away and have a holiday. I didn't have enough for a proper trip, so I decided to go up to the old house for a weekend and work on it. The place is deteriorating quickly and always needs a few hot patches here and there. Perfect way to take my mind off things. After the first day, I've patched a leak in the roof and unjammed the front door. There was a spot in the main room where the floor felt like it had dipped. I decided it was tomorrow's job and went to bed. It was a rainy, windy night and fell asleep easily to the sound of frogs. I awoke, hearing a very loud thump from the main room. I got up, cautiously walked to the door and turned the light on to find the floor in the main room had completely collapsed, leaving a big hole in the middle. I assumed I was the straw that broke the old floor, as well as the wind, and went back to bed, nothing I could do at that point. After restlessly laying there on my phone, I heard some mice start freaking out, not the usual scratching or chitter. Suddenly I hear a large growl and bumping and thumping like something large is chasing a mouse. I shot up and started screaming, both terrified and trying to scare whatever it was on the other side of the door. As I run to the door, I hear whatever it was run through a window. I opened the door with my phone light on and ran to the broken window. I remember peering out the window with the phone light and seeing two large green eyes looking back at me across the property. There was blood and black fur that caught on the glass. Wild cats, man, too much adrenaline to sleep. Next day, head into town to get reception and some supplies. Need to call my dad to tell him what happened. He's a builder and would know how to fix floor. I didn't pick up, so I spent some time in the pub. I am nursing my beer and look around the pub at the random crap on the walls. Lots of football posters as well as animal trophies and fish. Noticed a panther plush sitting atop the beer fridge. I asked the barman why the plushie. He laughed and told me there is an urban legend of big cats out in the bush. Not wild cats, but big ones like panthers. I tell him what happened last night and he laughs it off and jokingly calls me a piss-headed yarn spinner. I left it at that. Maybe it was just a wild cat. Eventually my dad called me and told me the floor would be unfixable and to patch up the window. I lied and told him it was the wind that broke it all. I patch up the window with cardboard and put a heavy rug over the hole with bricks to hold it in place. Later on, I'm frying up some sausages, hoping it doesn't attract any large cats. I sit down in the main room and turn the old TV on. The power instantly went out and I am frozen still, heart beating out of my chest. I put my plate down slowly and go back to the kitchen to grab my phone's light. I walk back into the main room, the power comes back on and there is a large, black gorilla-like arm reaching for my food through the window. My heart stopped and I felt sick as it snapped back through the window and it took off into the night, thumping as it ran off. I've wanted to tell people this story IRL, but I just know they won't believe me. I did, however, ask an Aboriginal elder and he mentioned Turmali. My mom recently told me of how one night she saw a hairy molester reach through a window when she was 13 and tried to grab her when she stayed at the house. Police were called and they found large footprints running off into the dense bush. This inspired me to tell my story. That night I stayed at a motel questioning my sanity, reality, everything. The only explanation I could seriously come to was a yowie. There's no one within living kilometers of the house, so a prank or a psycho is unlikely.
Loves my honey kitty. It's probably like the best relationship I've been in. Of course, it's probably it's my second relationship, but by far one of the coolest and best relationships I've ever had. From here, I was thinking like the only love I was good at was unrequited love. Hmm. All right, I hope to take a little break, and I shall BRB once again. Hands stocking bouts. Well, that was love. All right, BRB. BRB. one of these car seats. It's like a removable seat in a car with the escalator. I was trying to open it up for a person to fly. Probably don't open up unless they're plugged into the actual vehicle. That sucks. Like, what if I wanted to pull it out in the light? She used to have a doggy bed. Well, I used to have a doggy bed in here for the dogs to rest in whenever I need to bring one of them in to either keep them out of the heat or the cold, or maybe they broke one of their chains and there was no place to put them. And so we got a new chain. So I'd have to like keep them in the cabin. Yeah, I had a doggy bed, but because of this last winter and Hershey being the elder dog didn't really have a soft and warm place to sleep. Like I put the like she was kind of like shivering behind my porch. And when I saw that, I was like, oh shit, I gotta do something about it. So this is like around the time I was like hobbling together like a lot of the dog houses. Like last winter, like I made like a mad dash to just like refurbish like their broken up dog houses, because these dogs, like when they get on one and they'll bark at every other such thing, they'll drag their chains around and their chains will wrap around their dog houses and they'll inadvertently like just tear up their dog houses. So last year, like their dog houses were more or less in shambles, and when winter was coming, like I figured like fucking these dogs need a better place to sleep. They need better shelter. So it was like a mad dash in the last few months as winter was approaching to like refurbish their dog houses. So I spent weeks tearing apart these old shabby dog houses made of like plywood and well, like, yeah, plywood, particle board, 2x4s. And I went ahead and like bought like another sheet of like plywood just to make a new doghouse, and like several other lengths of like 2x4 and 2x3s, I believe. Or no, I think they were 1x2s or something of that. So I refurbished these doghouses to like accommodate like the battery they usually take. And like one of the main causes as to why some of these doghouses were collapsing is because our pit bulls, they tend to just lounge around on the top of their doghouse, which would cause the roofs to sag. So I bought some extra like lumber, like the little 2x3s or the 1x2s, I think they are, to reinforce the roofs. So whenever they decide to lounge around on the roof again, it's like they're Snoopy dogs or something. Like they're full-grown pit bulls, but they like to lay on top of their doghouses. So I had to reinforce the roofs so they would be a little more sturdy. And this time around, like yeah, their doghouses do take a beating whenever their chains like wrap around them and they try to like fucking tear at something that they can't even fucking reach. But these doghouses are holding up pretty good. So anyway, last summer when I was like fucking not last summer, last winter when I was doing all of this, like I noticed that Hershey was like fucking pretty cold, and I just like finished one of the last dog houses. And it was for her. But instead of like just having it out there on the cold ground, I put it on my porch and I put the dog bed that I usually have for the dogs that have to stay in the cabin for X amount of reasons, which I gave. And I threw that in there, and she's just been sleeping cozy in there ever since. But left unattended, recently they tore apart the freaking dog bed. I guess they were fighting over it. So I got to get a new doggy bed for her. And they're like $17, the one I got. So right now I tried to like make a comfortable place for her to like lie down and like fold out one of the vehicle removable seats, but it won't fold out. Sucks. Yeah, I don't have anything else. No, oh well. She seems pretty comfortable though. Anyway, let's get back to the stories.
Oh boy, fellas, get ready. 2014. In final year of Scouts. We go to some camp, I can't even remember the name of it. This place is pretty far off grid. There's a camp doggo that we make friends with. First day after we've done all the prep shit, me and a few of the other older ones go exploring. Find this bush track that's pretty overgrown. I got this, lads. JPG. Bash through it and find a small clearing about 30 by 30 meters around 400 meters down the track. The clearing is in front of a large incline of about 70 degrees. In the center of the circle there are a few logs laid out in a square around a pile of rocks in the center. We check it out. By sheer chance one of the girls looks up around the top of the incline. Spots a blackish figure, disproportionately tall for the distance. We all spot it too a few seconds later and it walks backwards out of sight. Sprint back to campsite. Scout leaders checks it out, take binoculars and small hatchet. Come back looking puzzled but they believed us. Fast forward to night. Around 11:30 p.m. or 12 a.m. Doggo suddenly starts barking like crazy. Aggressive barks too, and snarling. Immediately about 6 people exit their tents with high-powered flashlights. Spotlight beams everywhere into the darkness. Scream. MP3. Oh God, here we go. All the lights jump to where hers was. A shadowy figure is retreating quickly into the bushes. This thing is at least 8 to 10 feet tall. We get told to go back to bed. Leaders stay up all night on watch. Obviously we were scared shitless and didn't go to sleep for a while. Hear the leaders say, "Do you really think it's safe to stay here?" To which the other replied, "Not with something like that lurking around." We pack up and leave the next day for our own safety. Still my favorite yet terrifying scout camp. By the way, yes, girls are allowed in Australian Scouts and have been for a long time.
Be on a houseboat trip up the Murray River with the family. Nothing happens and
Okay, hold on. Flufferpuff sweetness. Honey kitty. Fluffin' muffin. Tootsie Bootsie. Is this more or less the outfit that we're going with for the both of them? I'm just double checking. Or wait, let me go through our notes. I think you might have already given me some. Okay, all right, I see it. I see them. I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. I am an idiot. I don't know why you're in love with me. I let these things slip my mind a lot of the time. No, you did nothing wrong. You did nothing wrong. I did something wrong. I totally forgot all the notes that you already sent me. I was like asking about like what costumes they're wearing, and you had already let me know like the attire, like the outfit and everything. So you did nothing wrong. It was all me, because I'm a stupid, forgetful scruff burr. Your scruff burr has a very slippery mind. So yes. All right. Disregard my question, and I'll get to work on these outfits. Shall I? Give me a second. Okay. Why the fuck do you put up with me when I do annoying stuff like this? I'm over here like, babes, what outfits do you want them to wear? And like you had already sent all of that information. Uh, I'm sorry for being the way I am. Amateur forgetful scriptures. Please forgive me. Okay, back to the story.
Until we get pretty far upriver. Cross into the next state and into some reserve. Dad and both brother-in-laws decide to go fishing. I stay back with the missus, my two sisters, and my mum. We're sitting on the top deck drinking, talking, and having a good time. The girls decide to head inside. I lag behind to grab a drink out the esky. As I'm going down the stairs, I hear a young girl scream from across the river bank. Scan the bank but can't see anything. Makes my gut turn as we haven't seen people for a day or more. Fast forward an hour or so. The missus asks me to accompany her on a short walk. We trek in Norwoods a fair way. Just a note, if you've never seen the Australian bush, it's thick as a 70s Ron Jeremy's bush. Meaning you can't see more than 3 meters in any direction. After a while we break into a clearing. Find a rabbit's warren. It's abandoned but no sign of foxes or cats yet. No signs of any animals, not even kangaroos. Get a bad feeling in my gut. We keep walking and find an dried up riverbed. Suddenly the smell of dead rabbit floods the air. Not just dead rabbit but rotting rabbit guts. Don't have my gun on me cause family holiday and whatnot. Feeling naked, exposed and hunted. Pick up closest rock in case I need a weapon. The missus starts getting worried and says we should head back. On the way back the smell follows us. So does the feeling of being hunted. We keep heading back to the boat. I keep my wife in front of me at all times. Decide to steer her towards the river bank but away from the boat. As we get closer the smell fades but the feeling doesn't. Break out of the scrub about 100 meters from the boat. Make our way back there but don't mention what happened cause they will just call us nuts. Nothing happened till later that night. That night wake up from a dead sleep at the same time the missus does. All of a sudden hear what sounds like barking from the scrub. Definitely not a dingo or a dog I've heard before and I grew up in the bush. Then another one starts barking. And another. Can hear they're a fair ways apart. The barks get closer. When they're a few hundred meters away, they go silent. One more bark, this one was on the river bank. Get out of bed against the wishes of my wife and peek out the window. See something where her and I came out from earlier. Can't make it out, but it looks like an anorexic person, but it's slumped over. Nope, back into bed and go into scared child more. Whatever it is climbs onto the boat. Felt the boat shift when it climbed onto the corner.
Oh, weird. Oh, okay. I see what's going on. This costume ref you sent has a very interesting design. Huh. It's stylish, but not all very practical. Okay. Because what's interesting about it is that, sure, there seems to be this like tight leather shirt with like leather sleeves that are hanging by some braided leather straps. And I would think that would be the same for both sides, but no. Over this tight leather top, there is like a sort of a overlying jacket, or I don't know what you would call it. It's like a fraction of a jacket. So you have this partial overcoat with the collar in there, and there's like a clasp or something right here, and it only comes down to yay length on one shoulder, but on the other side it has a sleeve. Muy interesante. It's a very stylish design. I like it. But like thinking in a practical sense is like, why would you have a coat like that? It doesn't really cover anything. Like, what purpose does it serve? Huh. But that's fantasy for you. Yeah, I was just a little confused for a moment, but then I realized what was going on. But yeah, we'll continue going with it. I was just confused for a moment. I like the design. It's just my detail oriented brain is like thinking like, why would you buy a jacket like that? It's like a one sleeve jacket. It just covers your shoulder. What purpose does it serve? Sorry, I have a stupid brain that gets hung up on some of these details sometimes. Never mind me. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. Anyway. Oh, I chose it because it looks very well worn in an outfit that's been very well traveled in. Yeah. Totes. Yeah, dude. I'm glad I'm covering up this part because I was struggling with like it's been so long since I've drawn the pelvis region. I don't remember how the muscles go, so I just kind of like hashed it all together until it sort of looked right, but it still looked a little off. And I was thinking like, you know what? I'm spending way too much time on this pelvis when eventually I'm going to cover it up with clothing anyway. So stop fretting over the details and just get on with it. But here I am just like saying like, okay, now that I'm getting the clothes on, like I'm glad I'm getting the clothes on because I fucked up the pelvis. But once the clothes are on, no one's going to be able to tell unless I tell them, which I'm doing right now. So I should probably shut up. hmm. Fluffer butts, I love you. Whoops, I almost drew the boots from this outfit reference when you want different boots. Let me load those boots up in the reference window. And the cloak, too, just so they're there. Oh, you sent me, like, more reference of that. Okay. Okay, I see. Oh, I see. Oh, wait. Do you want the pants or the shorts? Do you want the leather pants or the leather shorts? I assume you want the pants. Yes. No, I'm just saying, in your own words, shut your face, Black Horse, and shut your face, Black Horse, and draw. You're just overanalyzing. Pants version, please. Okay, you got it, man. You got it, my sweetie, luckily, peppery. Okay, back to the story.
Hear it pacing past our window. Lay there till sun up. Whatever it was eventually got bored and left. The next night we're closer to town. My two brother-in-laws are drunk making a bunch of noise by the campfire. An ungodly howl comes from upriver. They start howling back cause drunk. Silence for a bit, then a scream echoed downriver. Sounded like a person with a pole through their neck trying to scream. We all nope inside. Haven't gone back and probably won't.
Be 2 years ago. Be a corporal in the Australian Air Force Cadets, pick related third from the left. We have 2 squadrons and 1 flotilla of Navy cadets out on a field survival exercise.
Yeah, I know, love. I know how you tease me. This is a good memory for reference, though. I completely forgot I would make that reference to myself. Show your face, Black Horse, and draw. Every time I would rant too much, I would speak for the audience and say, shut your face, Black Horse, and draw. Because that's what the audience is here for. They're not here to listen to me rant about stuff. But I'm going to rant anyway, because it's my channel, yo. Woo! Oh, shit. I dropped the chip. Oh no. I found it and I dropped it again. There it is. Thought I was going to land in no man's territory. I was going to like land under the crotch, but no. It landed somewhere on my seat, away from the couch. Life is okie dokie. The snacks run went pretty good, except I didn't bother picking up a bag of Gardettos because they're so expensive right now. Jeebus fucking Christ, man. It's no wonder, like, me picking up 2 bags of snacks costed $7. Like, fucking Gardettos are almost $4 right now. It's fucking ridiculous, eh? I'm better off just like waiting until I go to Walmart to buy fucking Gardettos. Because over here, like $4 for a bag of Gardettos, I'm gonna have to wait until I'm really hard up for Gardettos. I know it's been a little bit of a dry spell since I finished my last bag, like last week. But I think I can hold off on Gardettos for a little while longer because I'm not paying like $4 again for a bag of Gardettos. The first time I did it, I was sort of unawares. I just bought the 2 snacks and just bought them as is. And then when I saw the receipt, it's like fucking $7. What the fuck? And like knowing now, like looking at it now, it's like fucking 4 bags for a little bag of Gardettos. Get the fuck out of here, man. No, not doing it. Not doing it until I'm desperate. That's going to be next week. Melody says, I think Squish has munched Gardettos to near extinction. You just munch good tater chips. Yes. They may be dollar bag potato chips, but they are pretty good potato chips. Sure, they're not Ruffles or Lay's, but these are Wise potato chips. It's still like not as big a brand as some of those other big brands, but they still make a decent potato chips. And sometimes when you open up a bag, like fucking you get a huge ass potato chip. Like places like Ruffles or Lay's, you get like small to like medium sized potato chips. In a Wise bag, every so often you'll get like a like say you have a potato, right? And like say it's like a sizable, like maybe medium sized potato, but you cut it lengthwise for a potato chip. You'll fucking get some potato chips like that fucking size in a Wise potato chip. And like fucking Wise potato chips, they're like more or less just like $1 for a decent snacking size, but for like Ruffles and Lay's, like they're getting to like, or yeah, they're like, yeah, they're sizable bags, but they're like $4 and such. Yeah, no, I'll pass. I'll pass until you have a sale. Yeah, bigger brand name stuff fill their bags with more air than tater chips these days. Yeah, that's pretty true. So I find myself like leaning toward the like off-brand, like Wise potato chips. This drawing stream has been brought to you by Wise potato chips. Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, back to the story.
Being trusted and experienced in the conduction of field ops, I am assigned a section, squad, pick related. 2 Navy both male and 2 Air Force both female, one of which was a QT I was into at the time. B-Day 1 somewhere around 0000 HRS I am given my orders. Basically to conduct a survival training exercise to give the Navy a taste of the bush. We are then told about hazards and things to look out for, angry cows, leeches, cliffs, the usual shit. The AO is a known drug-producing area. If you run into any civilians, they may be hostile. Whatever, doubt it will happen, but I'll keep it in mind. B-Day 3 of the exercise. Everyone is starving. Only eaten 2 potatoes and a cup of rice each. I have my section gather wood to keep the fire going through the night, and I sketch up a picket schedule where everyone takes turns to protect the section while they sleep. At this point in the operation, nothing out of the ordinary has happened. Night falls and those who are not first on picket go to sleep under a makeshift survival shelter. 2:30 rolls around and I am woken to protect the team for my 2 assigned hours. The QT is assigned the same 2 hours, so we're having a good old chat. About 40 minutes in, we are interrupted by the very distinct sound of human footsteps snapping thin sticks under each step. The only thing was that the footsteps weren't gradual, as though something had walked up to the camp from afar. It started from about 10 meters away and walked up to about 5 meters from the back of the shelter. It was as if whatever it was had been sitting there watching us since before we woke up. Something wasn't right about the rhythm of the footsteps either. I can't explain it, but I knew that whatever it was, it walked on 2 legs and knew that I couldn't see it. I immediately stood up to face the direction of the steps. At first I thought it was just a staff member coming to check on us, so I gave it the verbal challenge. 7. I waited, expecting someone to call out 6, because 7 and 6 add up to make the challenge number 13. Nothing. At this point I had in the back of my mind that there's a slim chance this could be someone involved in the local drug trade, so I wasn't going to shine a light on them and possibly give them a reason to attack me to protect their identity. You know what, it's probably just some smart ass from a nearby section sneaking around. I grab my radio and commence the following call. 0 Alpha, this is Delta 5, over. Delta 5, this is 0 Alpha, send over. 0 Alpha, Delta 5, do you or any other call signs have units in the field? Over. Delta 5, 0 Alpha, wait out. My eyes were fixed on the last place I heard footprints as I wait the longest 40 seconds of my life. The first 2 feet of tree line was lit with the orange glow of the fire before plunging into darkness. Delta 5, this is 0 Alpha, negative, there are no units in the field, over. I immediately grab the QT with my left hand and pull her behind me whilst simultaneously pulling my Gerber LMF from the sheath strapped to my thigh. The thing starts to move again, walking around the camp just on the edge of the fire's light. Pull out my torch. Footsteps stop. Shine the light directly at where the thing should be. There is nothing there. The footsteps stopped only 1 or 2 meters back from the tree line, so it's not like I miscalculated where to shine the torch and it didn't run off. I swept the area with the light and found nothing. I turned off the light and called for backup. The thing starts to move again from roughly the same spot I had just shown the torch at. It moves deeper into the bush and stops about 10 meters in. Felt like it was still watching. Moments later, 3 military personnel with bayonets rock up and begin to sweep the perimeter while I protect the section. They walk right up to where it should be, and find nothing. They dismiss it as, probably just a kangaroo walking around. You have to understand that the footsteps of a human-sized creature walking on 2 legs are very distinct. A kangaroo's feet are long and disperse their weight, not to mention they use their hands to help them walk if they're not jumping. Something sinister was moving through the bush that night, and it was no kangaroo.
Australian here. There have been sighting of them in our bush too. I haven't seen one personally, but I have a couple of stories. When I was about 4,
Hammer's gonna be BRB again. opened the door and Hershey's right there. So I figured she might want to come inside. But as soon as they open the door wider, she just retreats further back into the cabin. So I guess she's going to be wanting to sleep. Which is fine. I just got to have a mind to drag myself out of bed if she needs to be out of nature. But we shall see.
On several occasions we found large footprints outside our house, which was in the bush. They were way too big to be a person's. I suspect my dad just made them though. An old friend I used to be very close to told me about an experience he and some friends had in a national park. They made their way into an area that doesn't see a lot of people, and were exploring a fairly shallow cave. They heard something really large moving through the bush not so far outside, much more noise than a kangaroo or person makes. Then they heard a really, really loud scream/roar. Apparently it didn't sound like a person or anything else they'd heard before. Then more loud crashing through the bush noises. They shat themselves and ran. My friend thought some sort of Bigfoot-like creature did it. The other story is maybe a bit better, but I heard it from an oldish guy I was fishing next to one day, so best to take it with a grain of salt. He really did seem to believe it himself though. Anyway, he and his wife used to live in some small town out toward the outback, still tons of bush, not desert though, out in the middle of nowhere. He said there was a quiet family out there everyone knew secretly had a shed out back where a part Bigfoot family member lived, lol. The person was said to be tall and extremely hairy, but I don't remember that they knew anything else about them. But apparently their property was regularly visited by Bigfoots, which had been seen many times by people from that town. He said everyone just kept real quiet about it. Well, if Bigfoot lives anywhere, a place like that seems the most likely. There are thousands and thousands of hectares of bush out there which apparently contain nothing of interest and have never really been explored much at all.
Okay, I live in Australia, so this is more of a Yowie story, but they're basically the same. I used to live in Byron Bay in the mid to late 2000s. I was basically just a little kid in the suburbs who went to the beach whenever it was nice out, which was often in Byron Bay. Because the town is such a tourist, schoolie spot, the main beach is always crowded on the good days. My family liked going to this other beach that was more tucked away. Basically, we would take a walk through a bunch of bushes and come out the other end to a more secluded spot. The secret beach has a tea tree lake, and the people here were usually old and nude, but it was a much nicer beach to be at. This one time in the middle of summer we want to go to the secret beach, and when we get there we're playing around for like half an hour. Then the empty, sunny sky gets absolutely covered in big gray clouds and starts hailing. Meanwhile, we're in our board shorts and bikinis, and we've got no protection from the falling ice except for our boogie boards and surfboards. We rush to the bush and start heading home, but as we begin to go down the trail I look back at the beach. The beach is absolutely wrecked with rain, ice, and no one else was out there but us, strangely enough. I remember as my family was rushing, I could see in the distance near another part of the bush there was a large black shape charging full tilt fast for its size towards the tree line. I saw it dive underneath the trees. I froze and started to whinge that my knuckle got damaged by the hail, so my family would wait around for just a second so I could see the shape a bit better. With the couple of seconds I got, I was able to see a massive figure. Think like 7 feet 6. Stood up on 2 legs and start to scream, wail, likely at the ice. My mum heard the scream and yanked me through the bush path to get us all away from it. Looking back, I reckon that hail saved us from a close encounter with the Bushmen.
In 1953, a dying Aborigine named Kinjika was flown from Arnhem Land in Australia's Northern Territory to a hospital in Darwin. Tests revealed he had not been poisoned, injured, nor was he suffering from any sort of injury. Yet, the man was most definitely dying. After 4 days of agony spent in the hospital, Kinjika died on the 5th. It was said he died of bone pointing. Bone pointing is a method of execution used by the Aborigines. It is said to leave no trace, and never fails to kill its victim. The bone used in this curse is either made of either human, kangaroo, emu, or even wood. The shape of the killing bone, or candela, varies from tribe to tribe. The lengths can be from 6 to 9 inches. They look like a long needle. At the rounded end, a piece of hair is attached through the hole and glued into place with a gummy resin from the Spinifex bush. Before it can be used, the candela is charged with a powerful psychic energy in a ritual that is kept secret from women and those who are not tribe members. To be effective, the ritual must be performed faultlessly. The bone is then given to the kurdecha, who are the tribe's ritual killers. These killers then go and hunt, if the person has fled, the condemned. The name, kurdecha, comes from the slippers they wear while on the hunt. The slippers are made of cockatoo, or emu, feathers and human hair. They virtually leave no footprints. Also, they wear kangaroo hair, which is stuck to their bodies after they coat themselves in human blood, and they also don masks of emu feathers. They hunt in pairs or threes and will pursue their quarry for years if necessary, never giving up until the person has been cursed. Once the man is caught, one of the kurdecha goes down onto one knee and points the candela. The victim is said to be frozen with fear and stays to hear the curse, a brief piercing chant that the kurdecha chants. Then, he and his fellow hunters return to the village and the candela is ritually burned. The condemned man may live for several days or even weeks. But, he believes so strongly in the curse that has been uttered, that he will surely die. It is said that the ritual loading of the candela creates a spear of thought, which pierces the victim when the bone is pointed at him. It is as if an actual spear has been thrust at him and his death is certain. Kinjika had been accused of an incestuous relationship. Their mothers were the daughters of the same woman by different fathers. Instead of going to his trial, he fled the village. The hunters found him and cursed him. It is said that is why he died.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more green texts will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.
Sweet. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and call it for there. I'm going to go ahead and call it because I've been streaming for close to 2.5 hours. Oh, loves you too, honey kitty. Melody sending me a string of hearts in Discord. Man, loves you so much. All right. This has been cool. Made a lot of progress today. I had just started the sketch earlier today and been sketching through it, sketching on it through class and such, of which I got to start doing some homework again. The homework's been pretty simple. Like with my college courses, I am so glad I got all of my prerequisites out of the way the first semester. Because things like math, English, Navajo language, they're just so difficult to deal with. So much fucking homework throughout the week. The easiest class I had last semester was learning computer programming C++. And it was pretty chill because like the way I saw it was just like trying to figure out a puzzle. And I have a mind for puzzles. I love figuring them out. So when I don't have to do like fucking research papers or like deal with numbers or learning a new language, it shouldn't be new to me, but it is, seeing as how it's my language. But it should not be new to me. But yeah, it's one of the most difficult languages to learn. Anyway, all that aside, like the computer programming class, well, and just thinking of it as a puzzle and how all those puzzles fit in order to create a desired outcome, it was pretty cool. It was pretty chill. And this second semester, all I have are computer classes, and it's just all a matter of just like figuring out how things fit together and knowing like the rudimentary knowledge I do possess now about computer tech and stuff. I can, yeah, I'm taking a little more easy this semester, but I still got to start doing some homework. Anyway, all that aside, thanks for watching, and thanks to all those who participated in chat. It's always awesome interacting with all of you. As always, there's my lovely moderator, Melody. Sammy Tootie dropped in to say hi, and Max Sham. I believe I might have seen that name before. I don't know. But Max Sham entered the chat. So, yeah, thanks. I really appreciate it. And to all the people who are watching, like, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, subscribe, or donate to my Ko-fi page. All those links can be located in this description section below. You'll also find my Twitch streaming channel. Follow me there if you'd like, and my Picardo stream channel. Also follow me there if you like, because on Picardo I have a little more liberty to just like listen to whatever music I want to listen to, or watch whatever movie or TV shows that I'm interested in at the time. So yeah, like fucking follow all of them. That'd be fucking awesome. Anyway, any one of those options would be very much appreciated. So until next time, this has been Johnston Blackhorse, the one and only, and I shall check y'all later. Sweet! Bye.